Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial in the series. So we're just working on TestNG right now, and today we're gonna cover a important topic for dependent test cases. So I'll show it to you guys again with the example of Expedia.com. So let's say what I'm trying to do is I'm just gonna open the web for it right now. So let's say what I'm trying to do is excuse me, I'm just trying to search for a flight from New York to Chicago on these states, and I'm just click search. So what happens once I click search is this thing is still going, it's still searching, and let's say I want to filter these flights for a morning time. So this happens, right? After that, I need to click this thing, departure time for the morning checkbox, right? It's gonna filter the results again, right? So let's say I want to do this. So what happens is, let's say I have a test case for clicking the mornings, filtering the morning flights, right? But I can do it without searching it, right? Agree. So I cannot run this test case independently. I first need to search for the flights, and then only I can just click this morning checkbox, right? So this test case is basically dependent on the test case where I'm searching for the flights. And also you guys notice, right? This thing appeared on this page after a long time, right? It just didn't appear instantly after the page loaded. It just searched for the results, and then this left hand section just popped up. So we needed to wait for this element to show up, right? So I'm going to utilize our wait types class also that we discussed in Selenium tutorial. So now let's take a look at the test case. This is just the before class as usual stuff. Driver, getting the base URL, and timeouts, properties configuring for login, and we're above the base class we're just declaring these things, driver and the base URL, and then in the before class we're just using them, right? So this is pretty clear. So now the first test case is search flights. What we are doing is navigate to the flights tab, fill the origin text box with New York, fill the origin text box with Chicago, filling the departure date, and then we are filling the return date, and then clicking on the search button. That's my first test case. Then my second test case is select morning flight. So where I'm clicking on the morning flight, and you can see I've created this method in the morning flight. So this method just clicks on the morning flight. So this is that click morning flight. So it's just finding the element, and it's calling a method from wait types class get when visible. It's passing the locator. This is our locator for the morning flight checkbox, and then it's given the timeout for 30 seconds. So it's kind of gonna wait for 30 seconds before just saying okay, I cannot find it, and then clicking on the element, right? And wait types, we have this method, right, get when visible. So these are comments, don't worry about them. Even if you uncomment it, it doesn't matter, it really works fine. So here it's just gonna wait, right, till the expected condition. Expected condition is visibility of element located. So it's gonna wait until the element is gonna be visible, right? So we're just gonna wait for 30 seconds for that. So this is our test case. If I run this test case, guys, without anything, I think it's most likely gonna fail. Let me just try to run it. It's just gonna maybe wait for some weird 30-second period, maybe because it can just run the first test case. See, it's not guaranteed that it's gonna fail. If it executes the first test case, it's okay, it can pass also. Oh, okay, this time it's gonna pass because it's running the first test case by chance. So because TestNG doesn't know which test case to run, so it's gonna pass this way. Yeah, for sure. So it's running right now, right? It ran the first test case. It'll come to the second test case. It's selected. It's gonna select, right. Uh, yeah, it selected the morning flight here, right, and it passed the test case. So basically, it's okay. Why it happened? Maybe it ran. Yeah, because it ran this test case before. So maybe let me just change the title, or maybe yeah, let me try to do something weird. So it just runs the second test case before. So now it's opening this, opening the Expedia.com. Uh, Looks like it's gonna fail this time because it's still waiting. It hasn't clicked the flights tab. The scratch pad is still open. So I think it's failed already. Maybe 30 seconds wait. Yeah, it's waiting for 30 seconds basically because we have the timeout 30 seconds for the second test case, right? So it's just gonna fail within 30 seconds. Trust me. Why? Because the test case name that I changed starts from C, and yeah, alright, it just failed, right? It just failed. Here you can see timed out after 30 seconds for the visibility of element because it just tried to ran the it just tried to run the second test case before. So it ran two test cases, one failed, right? That's what happened, and that's what we expected. Even if I open this, you see, right? Because it was trying to execute the first test case before and the timed out, so it just kind of went off. I just couldn't do that. So what do I need to do for that to handle those things? Why it happened the second time? Because I changed it to this method's name to start with a C, which is before S, right? Alphabetically. So it tried to execute this method before before the first method, right? So now if I wanna do those things, if I wanna make this test case dependent on that test case, right? So what I can do is depends on methods, and then equals to curly braces, and similar thing I can just give the method name. So my method name is search flights. I can just give that search flights. Now test engine is going to make sure that even if we are coming to this test case to run, it is dependent on search flights, so it's going to execute the search flights before it. And there is one more annotation you just saw, right? So which is depends on group, but yeah, it just showed up here when we were running that, right? So maybe, yeah, depends on groups, right? So we can make a test method depending on a group, dependent on a group also. So very similar concept. So now I'm gonna run this test case again, and now see, even if we have the name starting from C for the second test case, it's just gonna wait because it's gonna redirect the test case execution to the first test case because it is dependent on the first test case. So this time it should work fine. Yeah, it looks like it's working fine. New York, Chicago, entering the dates for departure and return. Clicking the search button. Yeah, it's searching, right? It's navigating to the next test case. So it's just searching right now, looking for the flights, taking a lot of time. I hope just that it doesn't take more than 30 seconds because we have the timeout for 30 seconds. Okay, morning. It should click the morning button. Yeah, it just clicked the morning button. You saw that, right? So just click the morning, sorry, checkbox, not the button. It just click the morning checkbox. So this is successful this time, and it just filtered the results. So let me close this, and once I come there, it says, yeah, it ran the first test case as search flights, and the second test case as change select morning flight, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna remove this because this name doesn't look good to me. Yeah, but you guys saw, right, the objective of this thing. So this is what the dependent test case is. Even if I have a name which starts from alphabetical order, so it tends to run on the first place, but still we can make it as dependent on some test case. And in any situation, let's say you have a login application, right? So for a login application, you want to do something after you log in. So you want to make sure that the login test case is the first test case that executes, right? So you can make other test cases dependent on the login test case. I mean, these are the very small examples that I'm giving you, which can be handy. You can maybe understand the concept easily with these examples, but you can use this thing in a lot of varieties in your test suite. So this is just a concept behind it. Guys, use it, practice it as much as you can. Use different websites, try to do different things, and practice as much as you can. Thanks guys for attending this. Stay tuned for the next tutorial, and thanks.